What's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here on the live stream with an update video on some earthquake activity happening in the Southern California region. Within the last couple hours or so, we're noticing a swarm of movement here into the area. Let me back out and show you exactly where we're at. Southern California region, just to the northeast of the San Diego area. Of course, the San Andreas fault system runs here. That's the southern segment. Got the San Jacinto fault mountains, or the fault system here, runs pretty far up north. And the Elsinore fault system that runs to the west here, and just to the north of this swarming. Now, I kind of jumped in here and found out which specific fault system this is occurring on here. It's roughly on this one right here. We kind of matched them up specifically. I got the mountain ranges and the valley area right here. So it's happening up here on this fault system. Now, it is not a named fault system at all. It's a unnamed for now, but it's well constrained, meaning that it's got a very clear impression at the Earth's surface to see where the fault is, basically, which is not covered by sediment or dirt or any other thing like that. But it's kind of a small little fault system. Not a whole lot of info on it. Last updated back in 2009. Uncertain on what type of specific fault it is, and the slip rate, who knows. And it's like that down there throughout many of the areas in Southern California. But we're noticing a swarm. That is for certain here. About 16 earthquakes or so. Most of them occurring within the last hour. And the largest one so far, a 3.6 that was felt pretty broadly, including areas around the San Diego area. There's the epicenter with the star, and this is felt pretty far to the west. Looks like maybe even to Oceanside area. Now, not a big shaker whatsoever, but what we do need to take note of is the swarm that's kicking up here. We did have some movement prior to that 3.6. I do want to show you guys that real quick. This is the 1 day all magnitudes. Let me see if there's anything prior to that. Doesn't look like it. So the majority of the activity occurred today. The majority of it within the last hour. The red circles prior to the 3.6 had quite a few ones kicking up there. So when swarms kick up like this in Southern California, in a very complex area of fault systems, it's pretty much a huge spider web of faults out there in Southern Cal. And some of this activity is pretty deep in this region. That we just got to take note of it, right? Not saying anything bad's going to happen or there's going to be a major quake. But with this deeper earthquake movement, there's a lot going on right now into the Southern California region. The San Andreas fault has been very quiet. No major quake on that in well over 300 and something years. So it's only a matter of time before this southern segment of the San Andreas fault goes. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be in 100 years. We just don't know. But I do know swarming activity here on the Pacific side of the plate boundary is an obvious sign here of quite the dynamic and pressure along this region. Now, most of the other activity, at least the other faults, appear to be pretty quiet. And it's been that way for the past couple days. I'd say the past few days, where we've looked at just very minimal activity up and down the Elsinore fault system and the San Jacinto fault zone. But this little activity down here, got to take note of, is definitely not volcanic. It is way down there, some of it at about 13 kilometers below the surface. I'm sure there's some old historical, like really old volcanic stuff around here in this part of Southern California. But looking at the topography of the land, I'm not seeing anything that would point out any volcanic features. If there was, they've been eroded away throughout time. But again, the deep earthquakes here definitely letting me know that something's going on here along the west coast, southern part of the state today. So up north, things pretty quiet. Up through Washington, some further movement around the volcanoes. But just watching this activity, folks, pretty closely. I will be jumping in a little bit later on this evening to further monitor and do an update video on this activity pending we don't see a major quake between now and then. If you were down there in this area and you felt this earthquake, kind of like to know what it felt like. I did see the seismograph station pick it up. I do have a couple seismograph stations here that are monitoring the seismic activity there in Southern California, and it kind of looked like it was just a quick slip jolt, kind of like a just at least according to the seismograph station. It's kind of hard to tell. A lot of times you can't really tell, but here's another little one. But when that 3.6 came through, definitely flatlined this whole area, that whole station there. But yeah, let me know what it felt like. If it was rolling a jolt, how long did it last? Now, not a big earthquake, but it's a swarm of earthquakes. And that's the thing that we got to remember. Little swarms can tend to lead to bigger things, and that includes the possibility of a much larger quake. So we will watch it. We'll be back a little bit later on tonight with a further update. Till then, live stream is up and running, and we will chat you guys very soon.